The point of Bitcoin is to fix the money. And money is energy, and energy is life. And if I keep sucking the energy out of the economy, I'm sucking the oxygen out of your system. Either under the best case, you perform poorly. Under the worst case, I suffocate you to death or freeze you to death. That's the problem. That's why empires collapse. That's why economies collapse. And the problem, it's not just a problem for an individual. It's not just a problem for a family. It's a problem for every institution. It's a problem for every company. It's a problem for every city, every municipality, every government, every civilization.
What's happening, crypto family? Aaron here, coming back at you with another cryptocurrency video today. As you guys just saw in that clip, that was Michael Saylor talking about the importance of Bitcoin, Satoshi's vision. And in today's clip, we're going to be showing you guys why Bitcoin is so important and why something huge is coming for Bitcoin very, very soon. We'll be checking out a lot of clips in today's video of some people in the US government, some big things that just happened recently in the whole crypto market. So recommend you guys watch all the way to the end. There will be a couple of clips in today's video, so make sure to stay tuned for those. We're going to start off by looking at Gary Gensler. Now, you guys know Gary Gensler testified in front of Congress about a week ago. They were asking him, are certain crypto securities or not? And he kind of gave very vague answers. And let's go ahead and play the clip so you guys can remember exactly what happened.
Laws as exist, is Ether a commodity or a security?
Without speaking to any one.
I know you've repeatedly said you're not going to speak to one, except you've spoken to one, Bitcoin.
So basically what Gary Gensler said here, he says that the crypto companies and all the cryptos out there, they have clear guidance if they look at the Howey test to determine whether or not a crypto is a security or not. But the Howey test does not really give clear guidance on that. So he's been very vague. He doesn't want to say whether these cryptos are securities, whether they're commodities. He won't say. And one of the reasons why he won't say is because the SEC is actually waiting for Congress to make new rules for crypto or make rules that make sense for crypto where they can clearly be regulated. The rules right now are not clear for crypto. And also something that's very interesting is Gary taught a class back in 2018 at MIT. It was a cryptocurrency and blockchain class. And he's actually talking about whether or not these cryptos out there are securities or commodities. And his answer is very different than what we heard a couple of weeks ago in front of Congress. It makes you think, is Gary being paid by somebody to say these certain things in front of Congress now that he is the chairman of the SEC? But let's go ahead and check out this clip here.
So we already know in the US and in many other jurisdictions that 3/4 of the market are not ICOs or not what would be called securities. Even in the US, Canada, and Taiwan, the 3 jurisdictions that follow something similar to the Howey test that we've talked about, 3/4 of the market is non-securities. It's just a commodity, a cash crypto. So you'll hear debates about initial coin offerings and what's a security and what's not a security. Relevant and important debate. But for 3/4 of the market, it's not particularly relevant as a legal matter, as a regulatory matter.
So as you guys just saw, Gary's answer was completely different than what we heard about a week ago. Back in 2018, he basically said that 75% of all cryptos out there were commodities. I wonder where he had a big change in his mindset at over the past 5 years. Or is he following some agenda being paid off to say these things that he's saying in front of Congress? But I think it goes to show there's a lot of gray area when it comes to regulation and cryptocurrency in the United States. But we got to see what the Congress members are saying. And just recently, there were 2 Congress members that talked directly on this. And there are a lot of people that are pro-crypto in our government, guys. So let's go ahead and check out 2 clips from some U.S. senators to see what they're saying about Bitcoin and what they want to do with it going forward. Let's go ahead and check these clips out.
I, for one, am opposed to a U.S. Central bank digital currency. Some other people are more favorable to it. So we had proposed a study of it. We may leave that on the cutting room floor going forward, but these discussions are still ongoing because the House Financial Services Committee, as well as the House Ag Committee on the commodity side, are more engaged in this than they used to be as well. And you heard, I understand, from some of those folks this morning, which is great. So we want something that will pass. I don't want to get in a spitting contest with the House of Representatives. I don't want to separate the House from the Senate, the Democrats from the Republicans. I want something that is workable for this industry that will not stifle innovation. And so I'm willing to sit down with almost anybody up the street who has an idea and wants to find a way to get to yes on this framework, because time is of the essence. And the frustration that you encounter in dealing with the regulatory climate here in the U.S.
Really excited and incredibly bullish on Bitcoin specifically, crypto more broadly, but Bitcoin in particular. I think Bitcoin is clearly the alpha in the crypto sphere, both in terms of coming first and also being clearly the most dominant. I think the analogy of digital gold is powerful. And the insight that led to its creation is still extraordinary. Listen, I'm a Bitcoin investor personally. I have a standing buy order. Every Monday morning I have a buy of Bitcoin that comes in, and I own a little more than 2 Bitcoins. So and every Monday I own a little bit more. And I will say, I bought the dip, which I was quite happy with. But I'm also a long-term investor, so I'm fine with some volatility, and I recognize that there's going to be going ups and they're going to be going down. But 21 million is a number that is a firm number. And I think one of the attractions to Bitcoin, certainly for me, but for many, is as a hedge against inflation. And particularly when you have irresponsible politicians in Washington that spend money like drunken sailors, which is actually not fair to the sailors because at least they're spending their own money, and that print trillions and trillions of dollars. We see inflation all across the country. That was driven by this spending binge that happened the last 2 years in Washington, and it unleashed significant inflation. I think Bitcoin is an important check against that. I think it is also powerful in that it is decentralized, in that it is far less susceptible to government control. Listen, I like Bitcoin for the same reason that the Chinese Communist government doesn't like Bitcoin. They don't like Bitcoin, and they banned it because
Cynthia Lummis and Ted Cruz, they really like Bitcoin. They really want to see the United States embrace cryptocurrency, get this regulation out there so we don't stifle innovation over here in the United States. I just think this shows that there are some huge things coming for crypto and Bitcoin in the future because the United States, I believe, wants to be a crypto hub. And as you can see right here, they did talk at this conference. A lot of congressmen, U.S. senators, talked about how the United States could embrace Bitcoin and how it could be great for the future of the United States. And I think that is something the U.S. really wants to do because it is a very new technology. They're not sure exactly where it's going to go in the future. I mean, you guys know where Bitcoin is going in the future, but a lot of politicians are just hearing about Bitcoin and crypto over the past couple of years, don't really know what it is, but they're starting to understand what it is. And I think the United States will be positive crypto going forward in the future. And you can see right here, Mexico taking a play from El Salvador's playbook, looking to potentially make Bitcoin legal tender. So it seems like more and more countries want to adopt Bitcoin and they believe in the future of BTC. And there's a clip I want to share with you guys right here where they're talking about Mexico potentially adopting BTC. Let's go ahead and check it out.
So there are a number of things a nation state can do to adopt a Bitcoin strategy. The simplest one would simply be to add Bitcoin to the national treasury as a reserve asset, similar to gold or foreign currency reserves. And then the next one, I believe to be relatively simple to do, is to issue an instrument such as a Bitcoin bond to accumulate Bitcoin and to mine Bitcoin. So Mexico is an energy-rich country, and issuing a Bitcoin bond would be very simple to do here. And it would lead to a large accumulation of Bitcoin, and also it would be spearheading this new type of financial instrument on the world financial stage. And the third would be to work on a Bitcoin law, which Senator Indira Campos has been doing so in the past couple of years. So a Bitcoin law would enshrine Bitcoin as legal tender and allow everyone to transact freely using Bitcoin.
So as you guys can see, the United States government, the Congress, looks like they want to regulate crypto in a good way where they don't stifle innovation. We have countries like Mexico potentially looking to innovate with Bitcoin, making it legal tender in the country. That would be huge if Mexico adopted that. And then also we're seeing banks start to fail here in the United States. We saw Silicon Valley Bank collapse. When Silicon Valley Bank collapsed, that actually drove the price of Bitcoin higher because there was fear of further bank runs. And we are seeing the next bank run potentially playing out right in front of our eyes. First Republic Bank, it dropped 18% earlier today. This thing is down like 90% over the past week. It's looking like a meme coin. Will the government bail out First Republic Bank? That's yet to be seen. But the reason why this is happening is because the Federal Reserve chose to raise interest rates at an unprecedented level over the past couple of years. We have the Bitcoin halving coming in just over a year. And historically, after that Bitcoin halving, Bitcoin has blasted off. It's hit new all-time highs after every single halving throughout the history of Bitcoin. So a lot of huge things coming for BTC. You can see why the Bitcoin bros are so excited about the next couple of years for Bitcoin in this entire cryptocurrency space. And last thing we want to leave with you guys here is this is something to really understand how Bitcoin helps with renewable energy. And this is the president of Texas Energy explaining that. So just more and more people understanding why Bitcoin is valuable, trying to explain it to other people. It's still very new. People are trying to process, what is this Bitcoin stuff? Is it a scam? Is it real? Is it digital gold? What is this stuff? And you can see right here, this is a huge use case for BTC, and I think it's important to understand. So I'm gonna play this clip for you guys, but before we do, I'm gonna leave you with this video. So if you found any value in today's video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more. We have new videos coming out every single day. Let's go ahead and check out this clip.
So in the last couple of years, I believe it was roughly 1,100 hours during a year that we had negative prices at ERCOT. 1,100 hours. So 1/7 of the year, basically. Negative prices, meaning that ERCOT prices would be paying consumers to consume electricity. And the reason that occurs is because we have a lot of renewables in the state. I mean, when the wind is really blowing, sometimes we'll have some congestion on transmission lines. We simply can't use all of that power. Bitcoin allows those renewables to earn money during those times, as opposed to having to shut off their turbines, or to even have to accept a negative price, pay customers to use their power. Bitcoin moving into these areas helps to sustain those markets for renewables and drives more renewables in Texas. That's good for us. That's very positive for us. And then when prices go up, Bitcoin has been very sensitive to that price. It used to be about 150 bucks. I think it's somewhere around $100 today. That when the prices in the market get up to 100 bucks, Bitcoin comes offline because it's not economic. And because it's so flexible, there's no need to operate through those uneconomic periods. So the real value to Bitcoin is its flexibility, the capability for us to use it in our ancillary services, the capability for it to meet our ancillary services at the lowest possible cost means lower cost for all consumers in the state of Texas.